morning. I'm Jan Kowalski with Slate I Incorporated. And tonight I'm joined by two guests, Pastor Jose and Steve Castro, the Director of Housing. We'll get to Steve later. But for now, Pastor Jose, welcome.
Yeah, thanks.
This is a live interactive show, and of course we're on CanTV Channel 21. And we're also streaming online at cantv.org/hotline. And tonight we're going to be discussing the Victory Center. Is that the right way to say that, Pastor?
It's Victory Chicago.
Victory Chicago. And for the next 25 minutes, you are more than welcome to join the discussion by calling in with any comments, questions, or concerns at the number that's displayed at the bottom of your screen. And that's 312-738-1060. Now, before we get going, let me just introduce Green Slate. My sponsor is Green Slate Incorporated. There it is. Green Slate Incorporated, and here is Green Slate's identifying information. We've got their website, their email, and their phone number. And Green Slate provides any number of services for ex-convicts, including reentry programs, community service through the Circuit Court of Cook County. They have a Kirby Kids Camp, and they also work on feeding the families of Inglewood. And myself, I'm Jan Kowalski. That's Kowalski. And let me show you my name here. It makes it a little easier. That's Kowalski. And for those in our viewing audience that are not Polish speakers, you might be tempted to call me Kawasaki, but my name is really not Kawasaki. It's Kowalski. And to further help you remember my name, I've got a little picture of a koala there, and he's on his skis. And why do I have a koala on skis? Because my name is Kowalski. And one more thing to help you remember it. Oh, sorry. I am 100% qualified. And back to me. All right, so let me introduce you to Pastor Jose. Hi, Pastor.
Hello, how you doing?
Can you tell our viewers a little bit about yourself?
Yes, I'm a pastor of Victory Chicago. Just a brief about my testimony. I got saved 12 years ago. I was on drugs real bad, looking for change. I didn't know what to do, and my cousin went to a home, the Victory in Texas, and what happened was that he started writing me letters saying, if you want to change, go to this place. And at the time, I did need to change, but when he wrote it, it just hit me. I said, what if I do go there and something happens? You know, that's the thought that hit me. And lo and behold, I went. I said, let me give it a shot. Maybe something will happen, maybe not, but we'll see. And I went over there, and these people led me to Christ. They invited me to say a simple prayer, but it was something different. It was like hitting me. I felt it. And the moment I asked God to forgive me for my sins, he cleansed me and took the desire away from me from the drugs. And I've been serving Christ ever since. And
that's 12 years now, Pastor?
Yeah, 12 years, yeah.
All right, can you tell us a little bit about the Victory Center, or I guess you just call it Victory?
Yes, Victory Chicago we have a men's home. We take men in off the streets, anybody that needs help, anybody that's distressed, and we lead them to Christ. It's like a spiritual boot camp. And our whole goal is to help people get back on their feet by leading them to Christ and training them to fight temptation and never go back to where they came from.
Well, can I show our viewers your card here, Pastor?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, hold on, it's this one. There we go. Oh, we're going to have to zoom that one. If you want more information about Victory, it's on this little card, and it looks a little small, so perhaps you can tell our viewers how to contact Victory Chicago.
Yeah, it's 4017 West Ogden Avenue, and that's in Chicago, 60623. The phone number is 773-696-9094. And now we are not officially opened. We would be open maybe in a month with the construction part. We are almost done with it. Then we're taking phone calls in now. We have the church. We're actually having church services there at the actual home and the actual site. It is growing. It's crazy how we just start evangelizing and start just loving on people and people starting to come. So it's pretty good.
So where in the community is this program located at, Pastor?
It is in between North Longdale and Little Village. We are in the middle on Ogden Avenue, right there in Ogden and Pulaski.
And why did you select that community for your program?
It's always been in my heart to because when I got saved, there was always been in my heart to reach out to Chicago. Something like this in Texas, they have a few of them there. We have a few brothers doing the same kind of work. But it's always been in my heart to go up north, and Chicago's always been a city that needed this kind of help. And so when I had the opportunity, my pastor, we were evangelizing. We came over here. We started, just seeing the neighborhoods and seeing where God would let us. And we seen that building was the last building. It was the last place there. It was for sale. And my pastor and I looked and we prayed, and God gave us that building.
Well, let me clarify. Is there a spiritual component to your ministry and then just a very real practical hands-on component to it?
Yes. We do a very hands-on. Everything about the place, everything about the home, I believe every square inch of that home, God uses to train men, train and disciple men. And there's a spiritual aspect where we teach godly principles, very practical principles that will you can apply and they'll work wherever you go, whether it's your job, your family, taking care of your kids, even taking care of your friends, whatever. All these principles are very practical and very spiritual.
So is there a men's home portion and then a church portion?
Yes. There's a men's home. And that's what we have. We take the men and we work with them. They stay with us. It's in-house. It's inpatient. And then we also have church services Wednesday and Sunday. Wednesday at 11 o'clock. And Wednesday at 7 o'clock and Sunday at 11 o'clock.
And how many people do you serve, Pastor?
Right now we are not open.
Oh, hold that thought. We've got a caller. Caller, would you like to participate in our discussion? Caller? Oh, looks like we lost our caller. I'm sorry, Pastor.
Okay, no
You're
problem.
saying about the portions of your ministry.
Yeah, okay, so we the men's home right now, we have men that help build the home, build the ministry from the ground up.
You mean physically constructing with hammers?
Yeah.
About the building the ministry?
Okay, well, we got that, plus we are evangelizing, plus we are doing everything we can to finish off that home. Now, what we can do, we're doing it, and so right now, what we were, we had the.
Do we have a caller?
Caller?
Hello, caller.
What if I tell you, and I'm going to ask you to do a little homework? There's a drug that's been out for a couple of years now that stopped people from wanting to have the cravings for drugs. But when you look at the industry right now, in terms of treatment and all that, it's a lot of money it's a lot of money in drug rehab, and people don't want to put that treatment out there. We don't have to have the drug counselors and all that. When you just take that medication one time, you may have to suffer for a little while, but you won't be craving to get that next high. I just want to hear your comments on that.
Oh yeah. Well, the thing is that the way we got trained is I don't use drugs to get people off of drugs. We have never done that. We give them the gospel of Jesus Christ.
I see. The gospel. Pill being gospel. All right, it's a plain word.
Yeah, and it's free. We don't charge anybody anything to come into our home. It's completely free. My pastor told me this: the moment I start charging people to come into my home is the moment I'm fired.
Take care. Have a good day.
Yeah.
Thank you for your question, caller. All right, Pastor, how are you supporting your ministry?
We get private donors, and we're doing it ourselves. These men, we came in trained. We came in to hit the streets. We're connecting with other churches. We're connecting with a lot of other people. And not only that, but we do a lot of it ourselves. We come up with a couple concepts that have really been helping us a lot. And we are almost done. We're like 98% done with the home. And I'm really excited because we're getting calls in every day. Every day we're getting calls in. And I'm even having to send people to Texas because we're not open.
Pastor, hold it. That we have another caller. Caller?
Yes,
caller, do you have a comment or question for the pastor?
Yes, I comment to maybe help the Reverend there, because there's a big thing that's happening with President Trump. Even though he's not very favored right now, he has created a commission on the opioid epidemic.
Well, yeah, it's the epidemic is running wild all over from the Midwest all the way to the South. We had seen it all over the place, and right now it is real crazy. And that's what we're actually good at is working with the heroin addicts, the guys that are addicted to the heroin,
Very
the
much
guys
so.
that are addicted
Well,
to
no,
methadone.
it's hard to keep up with you because you're. But I think what's important is he should look towards them because he could probably get a lot of help and hopefully funding soon enough with this epidemic.
Yeah.
But Pastor, do you have an interesting program you're working on nowadays?
Yes. Right now we have a whole curriculum where we work with these men. I can tell what the guys are going to do and where I'm leading them to for the first 6 months. I know exactly what he's doing
Wonderful.
because it's a 6 month home. We don't charge anybody anything, and so we don't give any government help. We have never done that. I'm not opposed to it. If anybody does want to help our ministry, they can. But I just we haven't ever
Well,
done that. So.
I just like to say God bless your ministry and I hope you great success.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Colin.
That's a wonderful lawyer you're talking to.
Oh,
wish
okay.
I could find a lawyer like Kowalski. Very nice lady, she looks like.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Thank you, caller.
All right.
Pastor, do any of the people in your program, do they provide daily services to the program?
Oh yeah, well we actually go out to the streets and we actually go pass out because right now what we're able to do is we're able just to connect with them, let people know in our own backyard who we are. And so we getting to know the people by name. We're passing out waters. We use that as a hook. We pass out the water. Hey, can I pray for you right quick? Let me show you what we're doing. And, just to connect with the people, opening the church, having us, if you don't have a place where you go to church or you worship, you can come worship with us. And we give them the address and all that.
Well,
So-
Pastor, do you teach people how to work in the kitchen?
Yes,
Oh, really?
we sure do.
What
Yes.
kind of things do you do in there?
Well, we make banana bread.
Oh, no
and-
kidding.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, let me show our viewers here. I believe.
And we are famous for this too. I mean, I'm not even trying to brag or anything.
Here is
But-
the banana bread.
Yeah, this
audience.
is the best banana bread in the United States of America. It was in Texas, but we kind of branched out, so it's the best banana bread in the United States. This actually has really been helping us with our ministry and keeping it alive and finishing our home, the construction of it. So,
Well, let me tell you, how is this made?
well, bananas, walnuts, milk, baking soda, baking powder, salt,
But
vanilla.
do you make it on site at the
Yes, we
Victory
do.
Center? Oh.
Yes, we sure do.
And who's the people that prepare the banana bread?
All right, there's a gentleman named Alex, and he is the one.
Shout out to Alex.
Oh my God, yeah. We call him the Mad Russian. Well, because he's the one that he does a good job. He makes a good banana bread. So.
All right, thank you, Pastor.
Thank
You know, we're also joined tonight by Steve Castro from your ministry. Can we have Steve? I don't know what he's doing. Well, we're going to be talking to Steve in a minute. So let me just pause for a station identification here. You're watching Green Slate I Incorporated, and you're live on CanTV Channel 21 and cantv.org/hotline. And today's discussion is the Victory program that's new to Chicago. Mm-hmm. And I have joining me tonight Pastor and Steve Castro, who will be joining us momentarily. And you are more than welcome to call and join the discussion by calling the number at the bottom of your screen. It's 312-738-1060. And before we get Steve on here, Pastor, is there anything else you wanted to tell our viewers about the Victory program?
If you know anybody that needs help, they can change. It's not the end of the world. A person can get free, set free. I have seen literally thousands of people. Yeah, yes. I didn't know we had a caller. Yes.
Caller?
Thank you. Great show. You know what Pastor gets me is when people go for help and they need it, you're there for them. But how many times can you be there for them? Is there a number of times, like 5 or 6 or whatever number you have, that people go back 5 or 6 times before you say, look, I have other people that are interested in this program, but you're back for your 5th time. Do you take somebody else on and maybe you can help that guy later?
Yeah.
You haven't helped them, in all the months. So how many times is enough? Thank you.
Well, it really depends on the person. Now, it's free and it's volunteer, so that means that they have to come in with their own heart. They have to make that choice. And the people that do leave, or if a person does, they're not ready yet, that open door is there. We don't want to push anybody away. We think that the next time they might come, they might get touched by Christ. And we have seen that. I have seen that a lot. Literally, I have seen it a lot. We also did a statistic in the numbers that a person that stays with our home for 6 months, that stays with us, they have a 40 to almost 50% chance of never going back. Okay? Now, if a person stays with us for 1 year, that number goes up to 70%, never going back to the drug that he came from. And so that's kind of our numbers right now. I did the numbers in Fort Worth, so we're hoping and praying that we get the same results over here in Chicago.
So would the answer to our caller be that there is no limit, that as long as people are open to change and hearing the word, that they can always come back?
Yes, they sure can.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Well, let me ask you, is it just drugs like heroin that you service, or is it all kinds of addictions and or people in need?
No. Any, not even, we can even give somebody that is not even on drugs. They're just on the streets and is like, you know what, I'm tired of doing what I'm doing. I'm tired of being out here. Can you help me? Yeah, of course. Anybody that's on alcohol, they have a K2 problem, marijuana problem, they're on cocaine. And I'm saying these drugs bluntly because this is who we reach out to. But at all spectrums, people that are depressed, people that are just mean, people that you need to take my husband, and we take them too. We even get people literally getting kicked out of their car, not even stopping, kicked out of their car, get out, and they're literally still driving and at our front doorstep. And we take people in, and we want to help them get their family back, get their life back, and get their fight back, get their manhood back.
Well, what's the secret to the success of your program, Pastor?
It's Jesus Christ. He's the one that gives a person them back. He gives them their heart back and makes it new and better. He's the one. He's literally the one.
But my understanding from talking with one of your assistants today, Thomas, shout out to Thomas out there, is that you do more than just treat the symptoms. And sometimes the symptom is the drug abuse or the addiction. But the real problem might be a loss in their life, whether it's a loss of a person, the loss of a relationship, the loss of a job. But you've tried to treat the underlying symptom of the addiction, not the cause of the addiction, not just the symptom.
That is real good. You're actually helping me, helping me preach this. Okay, now I'm not really trying to preach, but the symptom and the problem is sin. You can shred everything. I lost my job. I did this or did that. This happened to me, and you can shred all that down. The problem is sin, and we need Christ. That's our bread and butter. That's what changes men. As soon as a person says, "Forgive me for my sins," there's freedom, there's change, there's deliverance, there's power.
Well, what if I get fired through no fault of my own? What if my spouse is unfaithful, and that leads me to a path of sinfulness, which is not due to my inception, it's due to outside forces. Oh, I'm sorry. Caller? Do we have a caller?
Hello?
Hi, caller. Do you have a comment or question about today's topic?
Yes. I'd like to know, number one, do y'all use medical doctors? Do you have any doctors to treat the patients medically?
No.
No? Well, listen, you know what? I think it's a great thing. Number one, they do start with God. And, AA does the same thing. You know what I'm saying? They don't treat any people unless they have medical problems, and not they have medical problems, then you have to go to a doctor. But it's all in you who want to change. So it's a great thing that you're doing. I was just wondering, I've been listening to the show, so just a comment I was trying to get to you. Maybe sometime you have to hook up with somebody just in case that people do need medically help or they need psychologically help. You have a place to send that person and still feed them God, because if you look at it, if 3 people start AA and you know who they were. So anyway, thank you for taking the call. Let me get out there so I'll carry your response.
Well, thank you,
And good luck
caller.
to y'all guys.
We're now joined by Steve Castro. I think well, Steve, why don't you introduce yourself?
My name is Steve Castro. I'm originally from San Antonio, Texas, and before anything, I just want to thank the Lord Jesus Christ because 26 years ago, He came into my life. I was a heroin addict. Spent 14 years of my life in prison, and I spent 8 of those in solitary confinement in a Texas prison. But one day they told me about Jesus and that Jesus could change my life. And lo and behold, God changed my life 26 years ago, and here I am here in Chicago now helping Pastor Joe, reaching out to the lost, just trying to reach out to where I came from. Because I know that Jesus works. I'm a walking, talking testimony of the power of Jesus Christ.
Well, let me ask you, Mr. Castro, what do you do for Pastor?
I assist Pastor in teaching, preaching. There at the home. Whatever needs to be done, I'm there. We go out into the streets. We go out into Lower Wacker Drive and try to reach out to the people that live there in Lower Wacker Drive.
Well, are you in charge of the home portion?
The home portion.
What do you do there?
Well, I teach mainly. I try to work with the men there. Create a family environment, first of all, because it's a home. It's not a house. It's not a ministry. It's a home.
And it's not an institution. It's a home.
It's a home. We opened up our home to people that are lost because it's a home, and that's what we want to create. We want to create a home environment. My wife and myself lived there also with Pastor Joe. So I do anything and everything.
All right, thank you. Are you responsible for the bread? I'm going a shot of the bread again. Where's my bread?
Well,
there it is.
I believe we're all.
Come on, Steve.
I believe we're all responsible for the bread.
All right. Do you have any portion in preparing the bread?
Yes.
What do you do, Steve?
I help mix it sometimes.
All right, there you go. And the bread is that an integral portion of the Victory Center that you teach people how to use cooking?
Yeah, that's a portion. That's a portion. We also work with the men to be responsible, because when you work with men that come from the streets, a lot of these men don't know responsibility. I was a man that didn't know responsibility. I spent most of a good quarter of my life in prison, so I didn't know what it was to be responsible over anything or do anything responsible in my life. And I went into a similar home like the one we have here in Victory, Chicago, in Chicago, mm-hmm. and I was taught responsibilities. I was taught to be faithful. I was taught to be loyal. I was taught to be on time. Because when we're out there on drugs and alcohol and doing our thing out there, we don't have no responsibilities. We have no sense of time.
And all that has to be learned.
And at the home, we deal a lot with people's character. And lo and behold, I spent 14 years of my life in prison. So God had to come and work in my character.
It took 14 years in your case.
Yes.
All right. How about if someone comes to you and they're not spiritual, they're not a Christian? Do you still accept people that are not Christians?
Yes. Well, that's the whole goal, to reach people that don't know Christ, so they can know Christ.
Is that one of the conditions of your program, that you have to attend the daily?
Yes,
what Pastor said Wednesdays and.
It's part of the curriculum. There has to be some type of curriculum. There's some type of order there in the home. We wake up in the morning. We pray. We praise and worship. We eat breakfast. We get into a Bible study, and then we disperse, and some stay at the home to continue the construction. Some go out and evangelize. Like today that you ran into Thomas. He was out there evangelizing today and letting people know about Victory Chicago.
And it's a good thing. I'm dying to try the banana bread. And I'm sorry, but we have to start wrapping up now. And thank you for watching and participating in today's show. And I'm Jan Kowalski with Green Slate I. And my guests tonight have been Steve Castro and Pastor Jose from Victory Chicago. And tonight, my technician and my executive producer has been Ziv Sistrunk, who's the founder and CEO of Green Slate. And once again, we are remembering the family of Robert Cooley. Robert Cooley was a dear friend that passed away in the 100 killings on the July 4th weekend. Robert, we remember you and we miss you. Thank you and good night.